You're the debug champion.
Now it
We're gonna
works.
send you something.
Collapse. Holy moly.
So
After
that,
chat.
yeah, shoot, nice job, nice spot. Um,
This is episode 7 of the show where we talk about next-gen features in Ignition.
Oh boy. Yeah, so this week we're welcoming back Reese, and for those of you who don't know him, there he is below us.
Hi, Reese.
Reese,
This would
for
be
those of
me.
for those of them who do not know you, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're gonna be working on today?
Sure. I am Reese. I am a team lead here at Flexware Innovation.
Okay.
I've been working with Ignition for probably about, it's probably been about 4 years. Filled a lot of different roles, developing, project management, team lead stuff. So a little bit of everything, I feel like. So
Awesome.
That's me.
Very cool.
I thought you were gonna say 15 years because you were counting.
No.
He was like,
That would be a long time. I feel like I'd be an OG at that point. Like Ignition is Ignition even that old?
I've been using it
I
since
mean-
2015.
Okay, so you're more experienced than I am. What am I doing on being a guest on here?
I was held back.
Yeah. This isn't Reese's first time either.
Right?
This is your third episode, right?
This is my third, yeah. You guys keep wanting me back, apparently. I don't know.
We just can't find any. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. People
The real
keep downloading
truth
your
comes out.
stuff.
Can you see how many people have downloaded it?
I think you can.
On the exchange?
Yeah.
I think it's overall. Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, after every episode we upload, well, last episode we need to upload, but we upload the resources that are developed during the show for you guys, so watch out for those after Reese comes with the fire.
Oh no. And all the stuff from the past 2 episodes even are up there too, right? Right, Derek?
Yeah, Derek.
Yeah.
Did you do your
Yeah.
job?
Well, we were combining the last 2 episodes because they were 2 parts, so
But if I went there right now, I could download that stuff.
DM me.
Whisper DM. It's a little quiet.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Anyways, that stuff was super cool. You should for sure check it out. The stuff that Eric did the last couple months.
Yeah.
Very,
Drag and
very
drop.
cool stuff. Yeah.
And it's on YouTube.
Thank you, Nick.
So,
Let me know what else
Hey,
is quiet, Nick. I'd appreciate that.
am I quiet?
Back in my office temporary. So everything you have to check it every time, you know. That's the joys of live streaming, right? Doesn't
Mhm.
retain its consistency. So,
Yeah, but then
let
you
us
get
know.
some people that tell you you're quiet, some tell you that you're loud, so you never know.
It's clear and soft.
So,
Thank you, Nightfall.
yeah.
Wait,
You
soft
got
as in
any?
You like it? Good. And welcome in. I see it's your first time chatting. Hope you're doing well.
He likes it. Good.
Yeah. Hopefully the music's not too quiet. Got some chill hop going.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about before we get started here?
Well, it's Thanksgiving next week. You guys got any
For
plans,
those
Reese?
of us in America, yeah.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving.
I love
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is like one of my favorite holidays because oftentimes it'll start snowing around Thanksgiving. Now, I actually enjoy snow because it's a new season. So yeah, Thanksgiving is always a good time. But I'm going out to my brother's. He lives in Salt Lake City, Utah area.
Okay.
So
It's a
we're
really
going out
pretty
there.
area.
Yeah, it really is. He just built a house, and so my whole family's all congregating there for the
Oh my
Thanksgiving
gosh.
holidays this year. So for those who don't know, I have a decently large family. I have 8 siblings.
Decently.
And I'm
Holy
I'm
moly.
one below the middle in the lineup.
Oh
So
my gosh.
whenever we get together, it's always a good time. So
You got to
looking
remind him
forward
what
to
your
it.
name is.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
you're,
not that big,
you're not
but-
the oldest and you're not the youngest. You're in the
Well,
middle. So you,
Okay.
A lot of times growing up, people are like, "Oh, you're one of those Tyson kids." I'm like, hey, "Yep, that's me."
Oh,
There's so many.
oh
But,
man, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's
my
always a
gosh.
good time. pumpkin pie, the food. It's got to be like the best holidays because literally
Claps.
you're eating and then you watch football and then you go and eat again. It's like I don't know, it's the best.
I
And
don't
my
know about
grandma
the
makes this
football.
bomb dressing. Oh man,
Like
that's so good.
stuffing
Yeah,
or like ranch?
yeah. No, not like ranch dressing, like
Listen.
stuffing dressing. Like they put in like the 9x12 pans, that stuff.
Okay. You need about 8 of those for the fam, though, right?
Yeah.
It's true. It's
You do
true.
not
Usually we
belong
have
uh,
there.
like 2 or 3 turkeys. So
Okay.
oh man.
Do you really have 2 or 3?
yeah,
Oh,
my
That's a
brother,
I
my,
thought you were kidding.
my brother is smoking one. I think he's deep frying another one, and I think he's just doing another one in the oven or something. But
huh.
yeah,
Nice.
Wow. That's wild.
should be a good time.
Okay. Well,
Cool.
What about you guys? You guys got any plans?
Derek, what are you doing?
we're just going up to. We're not. It's not as cool as Salt Lake City. Just going up to northern Indiana, checking out the fam. They usually do a big party in what they call the pub. It's like a big pole barn. There's a pool table and a bar.
That's
And
cool.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
Cool.
caught the. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice. And I'm
Yes.
kind of having two. Going
Mm.
down to southern Minnesota for some family on my dad's side this weekend actually. Just kind of was a
Nice.
last minute decision, and then for actual Thanksgiving, I'm going with my husband to Minot, North Dakota.
North Dakota.
That's up there by like Canada, isn't it?
Listen, it's like 4 or 5 hours from here,
oh man.
west.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
decent
it's
drive.
way over there.
awesome.
Yep.
Oh, you want to
Good
get
going on.
into what we're doing today?
Sure. Yeah, we
Okay.
can do that, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess if you're ready to
Um,
do it. Do we need to do a recap at all? What do you guys think? I don't know if we.
I can. How about this? Let me show my screen, and I can share the app, and then I can show what we're doing today. How
All right.
about that?
Sure.
Screen shared.
Welcome to a new perspective. So this is this is the app that we have been building on and creating things with for the last what 6 episodes now, 7, something like
Well, this
that.
is episode 7. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
7, nice. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. You'll notice if you any of you have the idea, well, back up. This was a Windows 11 themed app. That's kind of what it all based off of. You kind of have a frosted pane look with a background image. If you click on some of these, you can have the slide out. Nick made this really cool weather app.
Mhm.
See if it still works. It does.
Oh
It's
no.
great when things work
Whoa!
without
Look at the
testing.
little person.
Oh, what is that's a new image, isn't it?
Oh, that's
I don't
interesting.
remember seeing
Nick,
that
did
one.
you
That one?
plant that in there?
But when he did this, we didn't have snow, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's snow. That's cool.
Ah.
So all this is like live data coming from I don't remember what API. If Nick's watching, drop it in the chat which weather API you're using. There's a weather app there. Mia came and did some like swipe left, swipe right things. So like
Tinder
check marks
inspired.
it. So that's cool. And then I also came on here and I'm pretty into crypto. So I came on here and pulled API data for
Oof.
Bitcoin and candlesticks. It is down. And if anybody's been following the crypto saga the last week, my thoughts go out to any FTX users. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm
Rip.
talking about.
Rip
Otherwise,
Sag.
yeah,
Some F's in chat.
yeah, for real. But hopefully, things will start turning around. Although I've heard the outlook is not
Oh.
looking fantastic in the next 3 to 6 months. So
Falcon knows what you're talking about.
yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of what we've been building. Oh, and then I don't know if I can get to it from. I don't think we added a navigation to Eric's thing, drag and drop stuff. But Eric did
Not
drag
yet.
and drop the last 2 episodes. So, um,
Oh,
if you were to download this project after this episode, there
praying,
is
Nick.
the views are in the project, but
Yeah.
they're not like you can't navigate to them from here. So that's a little recap. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about scalable coordinate containers. So This actually is something that I have just came across with one of our clients that we have here at Flexware. They asked for a hey, can we view this plant overview on our laptop or desktop, but also throw it up on a big screen TV. And a lot of times when you are building things out with perspective, like flex containers and coordinate containers, like things scale pretty well from like a desktop to a TV, but oftentimes like the text will stay the same size, and there's a lot of different things that like you got to think about and keep track of.
Hmm.
And so what I came up with was I want to be able to build just a view, and then it'll scale automatically to whatever. Basically treat that view as an image and just scale the image up and down. So that's
Okay.
kind of what I'm going to be going through today. So hopefully we have enough time. So makes sense.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, so you can see here, I mean this is actually a Google image in the background of a plant layout. It's super busy. I apologize for that, but it's the best one that I could find that was transparent and had a decent layout. But on top of that, you can see I just put some labels of maybe some different areas of the facility, maybe some metrics with I just threw the default pie chart and stuff on here. You can see over here, I maybe have a room full of pumps, but the idea is that, maybe if I change this, you'll notice as I move this around, it'll automatically resize to whatever size it is. And like you can see the text itself actually doesn't wrap or anything like that. Um, it still stays kind of the same proportionally no matter how you work. And that's because it's kind of treating it as, like I said, kind of that all the components are an image and then just kind of scaling the whole image there. So that's what we're building today.
Cool.
So
Nice.
we'll jump into it. I have the designer open. So first things first, let's go here. I'm using Edge today, so I apologize. We are having some technical difficulties. Chrome's giving me some issues, so switched over to Edge. So if I fumble around, I go directly to Chrome instead of Edge. That's why I usually use Chrome, but whatever. All right, so first thing I want to do is let's create an additional navigation button and then throw and start building out my screen. So go ahead and minimize that. We'll jump over to our docs, I think is where it was. Yeah, the taskbar. Open this guy up. And instead of this icon, let's do a copy paste there. And maybe this one will be, what kind of icon should we put in here, guys?
Hmm.
Ooh, maybe like a monitor? Oh,
Or like a pinpoint, or like a no.
location?
Yeah, like a.
I'm not sure what you mean.
What if you type in?
Oh, like this. How about this?
Yeah, that works.
What do you think? All right.
Sure.
I like it.
We'll go Mac, desktop Mac.
Okay,
Sure,
listen.
why not? All right, so once we added that navigation in there, we'll go ahead and, we need to create our view first. Let's go ahead and do that. So I think we had most of the main in here. Yep, so we'll go ahead and create, maybe we'll just take home, copy that and paste it, make a duplicate, and then we'll call this scalable coordinate container.
Yeah.
And I'm going to copy this path and put that into the action of that icon. Uh-oh, clicked the wrong one. Configure events. Put that, I think all we need to do is update that guy. Paste him in there. Okay. Now that navigation should be good to go. All right, so go ahead and close that down. I'm going to save. I'm going to double check my edge here. So we did add another one there, and it does navigate. Cool. So that should be the same as the home screen. That's what we want.
Nice.
All right, so that worked. So now let's dive into my view here. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Yes. And what I want to do is I want to, I have a flex container. Now, I also want a coordinate container inside of this, because the coordinate container is what's actually going to be what. So I'm going to create some CSS, use some CSS transforms here.
Okay.
Essentially, those CSS transforms are going to convert kind of the XY container into that image, kind of like what I was saying. So let's go ahead and bring one of those over. XY coordinate. I always mix those two up. It's funny because that coordinate also has a little
Same.
XY symbol there.
That always throws me off that they all have the exact same label
Yeah.
or icon. Excuse
All
me.
right. Yeah. And then let's do. I think if we change this to 1-1, and let's go here. Maybe make this go all the way across the screen. All right, cool. Now it's spread across the whole thing. Great. So I have a coordinate container there. And then what I want to do is I'm just gonna rename this to my content. This is where all my content lives. I like to keep things clean like that. So I'm going to then let's go ahead and bring in our background image. So let's do that next. So if we go to my content, we go to value, I'm gonna do background image. So I could go, and this is all I did really when I was looking for a background image here. So I went and just did like, plant
Yeah.
layout, transparent or something like
Mhm.
that. That's all I did to find that, and just kind of looked for images there.
That is
But
not manufacturing plant.
plant, that's a actual plant. But anyways, you get the idea. I found the image. I'm just gonna steal it from the one that I already have over here. So I think I put it testing folder. I think I did a testing too. So this was. I'm just gonna actually copy. No, let's build this from scratch.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I think it was on the root container. Oh, that's right. It was an image. Yeah. Okay. Great. So I'll just copy this. Okay. So we have this open. So that's the first thing I want to do is I want to drag an image onto this page. I don't actually want to make this a background image, wherever that was. We'll delete that. I just wanted to bring in on an image. So this is pretty typical how you'd build like a P90 screen, right? Be able to bring this type of information on there. Source, I'm gonna paste that in. So now we have that. And I put it into the flex container, not the, let me deep select there. There we go. Bring you out now, perfect. Put the source in. I must have copied over the top when gosh darn it. I'm a mess today. Grab the image again. Copy you, switch over, and we'll pop this on here instead of this giant JSON payload.
Is that a GIF?
Okay. Is what a GIF? No, it's
Paste it
not a
in there?
GIF. I mean, it could be, I guess. But
I thought that extension was .gif that you just
oh,
pasted
it
in.
is. What do you know?
Oh.
There you go.
I was gonna say it's pretty blurry, but I thought.
I mean, I guess. I don't think it changes
Plant
at all,
layout
so
GIF.
Okay.
I
What in
don't
the
know.
world?
That's strange. I'm gonna put this, I'm just gonna actually move this kind of, the thing about this is you can kind of arrange it however you want. If you only want it a little bit, if you want to take up the whole screen. What I'm actually gonna do here, before I resize this, I'm actually gonna scale this view to the size that I kind of want it to be. So I'm gonna make this 1920 by 1080, right? Because that's a pretty typical end view. You don't have to do this, but it just makes it a little easier to develop, the end result. So what I'm going to do is I'll drag this over to the size of this guy. And this height handle is kind of tricky to grab. There we go. That's pretty close. And then what I want to do is maybe let's drag some more labels on there. So we'll go ahead and throw these on there. That's really hard to see. Maybe zoom in a little bit there.
It's a little hard to see.
Yeah. Make these. So actually, this brings up a really good place to talk about a new. So I'm going to create some styles, but a plug, not shameless. I'm completely plugging this
It's a
new
good
feature.
show. Oh.
Yeah. Uh, they have a really cool CSS editor now in the designer. So if you haven't seen it, new in 8.122
Ooh.
or 22, if you come into the styles, you actually have this. You can right click, and I already have it enabled, but it'll be like
What?
enable expert CSS or something like that, or advanced CSS, and it's actually a style sheet that you can edit all complete CSS in here. So you'll notice I have already created a couple like CSS styles here
What?
within the designer. Um, and
Whoa.
that's what I was using for well, you can't.
That's
Mind
cool.
blown.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that yet.
And that's
So
in
that's
22.
what these guys are pointing to. So you'll notice like this right here is class is area title. Um, and if we go back to my style sheet, which also pops up down here, so that's kind of cool too, because you can, as you're designing screens, you just pop over to the style sheet. But you can see, the area title is there, page title is there. So
So it auto
just
populates the PSC for you, because like
no,
before
that's a
this.
good point. No, it does not. So it's purely just like a CSS editor. You have to like if you wanted to create a new one, like we could totally create a new one. So if you go like dot, you'd have to do dot .psc and then
Mm.
maybe new area
Okay.
title or something like that, right?
Wow.
And then maybe I just copy all of this information here, and maybe change the background or the font. No, maybe we'll align it right or something,
Because before
just
you
to
were
show
doing
the
this
difference.
with, were you just doing a text file?
I was using
Or what?
Notepad++, but the really annoying thing is you would have to remote into the gateway server and edit them there. So this like brings all of that out here. It's a lot more
Yeah.
convenient. Now, obviously, there's some other things that you can do in there that maybe you wouldn't be able to do as well here, but it's a really great way to like add any CSS property out there instead of
Mhm.
just using, the styles designer to do
So
that kind of stuff.
can you add multiple sheets? Like if you
Ah,
wanted
yeah,
like a dark.
that's a good question. I
Okay.
haven't tried that before.
Okay.
I literally just did this like a couple days ago. I was just kind of curious and tried it out. I don't think you can.
Okay. I was gonna say for like, yeah, our project, we do have to get into the server, and then you gotta like drag it out to the desktop, and then drag it
Yeah,
in, overwrite
yeah,
it. But if you got a dark theme and a light theme, you have to have multiple sheets.
yeah. And I think it's a great step forward for sure. It's a huge benefit, and I think that they're still probably going to be fleshing more things out as more feedback comes in and all that good
Mhm.
stuff. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic. So like if I was to come over to my newly created label here, and now it doesn't show up here, but that's
Mhm.
normal and what to be expected, I guess, from like if you were to create custom CSS on the server itself, it wouldn't show up there anyways.
Right.
Um,
Sure.
so I forgot what the style was called. The area title. Wow, left off the front and the last. But if
So
I
if you
throw
do it,
this,
hey Reese,
yeah,
real quick, if you
yeah.
do it through this method, you don't have to attach that PSC to this that class's parameter.
So if you do it here without the PSC dash, it doesn't work. If that's what you're asking. So now if I switch back to here, it doesn't
No,
work.
no, I mean like you don't need the PSC where you put it in that class.
Oh, here,
PSC. Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and
Okay.
the PSC basically it stands for Perspective Style Class. I kind of commented it up here, and then
Yep.
dash, and then it's the name of the style itself.
Yep.
So
But
that's
you
something
do
to
need
keep
it.
track of.
You do need it if you do it the other way, right? Like the way we do it before this. Like, don't you have to put PSC with that path?
Nope. Nope.
You
Like
don't?
if you were to put
You
if I was
did.
the
Okay.
well, I did have to put PSC in the
Oh.
CSS file, but not on the style itself on the component.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's being used the exact same way. It's just making it available here instead of having to remove it in the server. It's the
Gotcha.
same exact thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's a really cool feature that's been added recently. I honestly I'm super pumped about this one because I love styling stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of things you can unlock when you style with CSS, and this just makes it a lot more, straightforward and easy to use.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Plus, a lot of times if you are using a style, it's not referenced anywhere in the project, and so this at least gives you another place to check to make sure that it shows up. Because before it wouldn't even show up in the styles, and you'd have to actually go to the gateway to figure out what the style was actually doing. Whereas this, it's here in the designer. It's just a lot more simple and clean. So I'm going to switch this back because I wanted to center them up. And we'll just throw a couple different labels in here. Looks like there's an encapsulation room here. Encapsulation room.
That's a little tough to see, but I can see how it's okay. So it was transparent. You can see like the little.
They tried to make it transparent, but it didn't really work very well. So I'll just cover that grossness up with my nice little label there. So yeah, we could just kind of pepper these around here. This one's a drying room. Maybe we want to add some different pie chart like I had before. Throw that in there. It's kind of gross there. Let me change the background color on this really quickly so you can actually see stuff. Maybe we'll make it gray. Yeah, ooh, that looks terrible too. Maybe we'll make it white. It's all right. it's not my favorite. And yeah, so I mean, obviously you could just add stuff on here as you would. In fact, embedded views work really great with this too. A lot of times maybe you'll have like a pump symbol or something. We can maybe add those guys as well. But if you had an embedded view that was an actual like pump, that you could use that here. So yeah, add that, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and save, and let's switch back to Edge here and see. So that worked, we add those in here, but obviously like this is not good. So we have our screen made now, right? And now we want it to be able to scale to any screen size. So that's what let's focus on doing that next. So let's go back to the designer here. And typically, right, you might come here and you come to this and you switch this to percent, right? And now it changes everything to percent mode, and we save that. And now it still works pretty well, right? Now we have no scroll bars. It's switching it. But you'll notice as I like change this, it works pretty well. But you'll notice, like, look at the text there, like the drying room, like it's smashed. And the labels get wider and shorter, and I don't want it to like resize that way, right? I want it to be, this is how it is, and I want it just to scale. So this works well, but there's a lot of instances where it might not work as well as what I'm about to show you. So let's jump back into it. So let's go ahead and go back to, I like to add any like custom properties I have for a whole view all the way at the highest level of the view. So let's go ahead and add some here. So first one I'm going to add here is the baseline of like how big I want this to be. So I'm actually going to throw this in a binding so that if somebody changes it, it always has like a baseline value it goes back to. So I'm going to make this a expression, now 0. So this is going to fire just once when we open the screen. So that's typically how I like to do that when I want that to happen. Add a script transform here, and I'm going to return a dictionary of X so that's going to be 1920, and then my Y is going to be 1080. All right, so that should return what I want. Yep. So that's like what I'm going to reference as my baseline, and I'm gonna use
Mm.
these values to scale all my stuff. So I gotta like start somewhere. So
Yeah.
that's what that's for. And then what I want to do is I want to add what it currently is. So let's do this current value. So go ahead and add this in here. Um, and so this one is going to be, let's actually maybe make it an expression structure because I'm going to reference the X of the view and the Y of the view. So go ahead and add a value, make this X, make this a little bigger here. And then we're going to pop into the function here.
Hmm.
And I don't, this one's also kind of not used as much, but it's really handy. So if you go, no, wrong one. If you go to the page props, you see there's a dimensions field.
Oh.
And you can see there's three different options. There's the viewport, there's the screen, and the primary view. So the viewport would be like the size of the app. The screen would be like the size of my monitor, and then the primary view would be just that, the primary view. So I'm gonna grab the primary view, um, and since it's the X, I'm gonna grab the width, delete all the extra stuff here, and hit OK there. And I'll just duplicate this guy, make this Y, switch over to here, and I think this one's height. We'll see if it errors out on me. Okay, it doesn't. Now, in the designer, this doesn't really work. It's just returning 0 and 0, but in a session itself, it works. So I don't want to wait on all, and we'll go ahead and hit OK. So every time the screen size moves,
Hmm.
these values will update, and we'll pull that in for our current. Okay.
So when you're using, because you said this would work with embedded views, and I'm doing something
Mhm.
similar with a customer right now.
Yeah.
For some PNID stuff.
Mhm.
Like if you're using a little, if you add your little pump on there and then it scales down. I mean, is it just like, does it? You said it still holds its shape, or like does it
So
make
if
it
you're
super tiny?
Well, if you're, yeah, that's tricky because I'm using up the whole screen for mine. But if you're saying like I have part of it that's an embedded view that
Like
you want to scale
yeah,
and
individual
not the other rest of it.
devices. Yeah. Well, you'd want I'd want the whole thing to scale, for example. I'm just wondering if you
Mhm.
had a bunch of embedded views on there, or different devices and stuff like that, if it would that still work? Do you think?
It would still work. It would just treat the whole thing essentially as one giant image, even though there might
Okay.
be a million embedded views on top of
Okay.
that. It treats the whole view as, you know, think of it, yeah, like it just said, as an image. And then
Cool.
we're just making that image bigger and smaller.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
that should work well for this. Again, the use case for this is like I want to see the same data, same format, everything exactly the same on desktop
Yep.
as I do on a TV or even a tablet or even
Yep.
a phone. Um, so it'll scale to whatever. So
Nice.
we got the. Oh, go ahead.
No, just
You say something?
no.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
that's nice. It could be very handy.
Yeah. Yeah. Useful in a lot of
Definitely.
different scenarios for sure. And also kind of helps having to not develop maybe multiple screens for breakpoint containers as well. If we can all use it in one, it can kind of make the development process a little more efficient too.
Mm-hmm.
That's always nice. All right, so we got our kind of our baseline of our scale. We got our current screen, and now we want to create a scaled property that takes in these two values and uses and kind of spits out a scaled version of how big we want this to be. So go ahead and create a binding on this guy. We're going to bind this. Let's bind it on the current. So anytime this view moves or changes, I'm going to grab the current, so the XY there, add a transform. And actually, before I do this, let's update these to 1920 by 1080, just so we can see the scale work correctly. All right, cool. So add a transform there. No, and now it's not updating because I already. There we go. Now we have that coming in. Cool.
Nice.
So we'll add a transform script and make some space for us. So in here, I'm going to automatically bring in my baseline values. So go ahead and grab those custom baseline, hit OK. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to create a scaled X value and a scaled Y value. So to do that, I'll just create a variable scale X equals, and this is going to be value, so the current dot X divided by the baseline dot X. So it's just going to tell me like how big I am compared to the baseline value.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that these are coming in as integers, and if I divide an integer by an integer, it's not going to give me any decimals, so it's going to always be either 0 or 1.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want that, so I'm going to turn these to floats.
Okay.
Go ahead and pop that in there. Now that should give me what I want. Oh, what's it saying down there? Script eval. Baseline self. Oh, I see, I have to equal it. There we go. And then we'll do scale y here. Equals, I'm essentially going to do the same thing, float, if I could spell, value dot y, and then float baseline dot y. All right, so now I have both of those values, and they should be 1. So if I return one of these, right, because I'm taking in 1920 by 1080, and I'm dividing it by 1920 by 1080. But if I was to maybe go ahead and hit OK there, maybe this is like 1500 by 800 or something. Now you'll notice that returns my scaled value there. So that's looking good. It's performing as I'd expect. So let's add a couple more things in here. Now, that's going to scale both the X and the Y.
Sure.
But I want to take basically whichever one is smaller of the two and use that scale. So what I mean by that is,
Okay.
if I come over here and right now it would be, I would want it to use the X scale because it's longer. But if I made this shorter, I wouldn't want to use the X scale. I would want to, or I said that backwards. I would want to use the X scale here and center this whole thing. But on this one, I would want to use the Y scale, just the top to bottom, and center it there. So what I want to do is determine basically which one's larger here. So we'll do it if scale Y is less than scale X. Then I want to, let's do a return equals scale Y, and then I'll do else ret equals scale X. I always use the ret variable on all my returns and my functions. I probably missed a semicolon there. Cool. All right, so now that's working there. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And that's determining which scale I wanted to use. So let's go ahead and actually put that to use. But I don't have all these decimals. Let's go back and update this really quick here. I want to add a couple more things in here. Let's make this actually a dictionary. So I'm just going to add in here, just return it. I'm going to do the scale as it stands. And then I'm going to do the X is going to be scale X, and then I'm going to do Y here, scale Y. Did that backwards. That's right. And close that down, and then I'm also going to round these as well to 4 decimal places, just so I don't have an ungodly amount of decimals there. All right. One last one here. Scale, comma 4. All right, cool. That's what I want. What have I got? Script of eval. Scale is not defined. Oh. There we go. That should work. Cool. So now if I click on this, I'll be returning, both the X and Y scale values, but then which one I'm actually using. So just a little bit more information there. I don't think we're actually going to use it, but just a little bit more information for us. All right, so now I want to actually use this. So let's go ahead and go to the content coordinate container here. And we're going to add some styles in here. The first one I'm going to add is I want to make the transform. So I'm going to use a transform to do this, CSS transform. I want the origin to start at 0, start at 0 pixels and 0 pixels. So that's basically saying XY start there. I also want to add in here transformation or transition. Let's wait on that one. We'll come back to that. We'll do a transform. That's ultimately what I need here. We're going to do a translate. And we're going to go from 0 pixels, and we're going to scale 1. So what this is going to do is really it's not going to do anything, because I'm starting at 0, 0 like I already am, and I'm scaling it to 1. But if I was to change this to maybe like 0.8, see if this works. Yeah, so you can see it scaled it down, right? So we want to adjust this to be a custom binding, right? So I'm going to take this whole thing that I just created, throw this into a binding, maybe make this an expression. And this is going to be, let's go ahead and just paste this in. This is all going to be a string that I'm returning. So put this into as a string, and we're going to end that there. We'll go in a plus, and then this is going to be another plus, end of the string. And then I want to, instead of this 0.8 in here, I'm going to replace this with my scale value.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if this could have or should have been in the CSS file, but if you're going to parameterize, I guess that makes
because
more
I want
sense.
to parameterize. That's the reason why I'm not doing it there. I honestly thought of that, but I don't believe there's any way to pass anything into that style sheet yet. Hopefully, if maybe there will be in the future, but that's probably they probably have to write their own like CSS engine type of thing in the background. So that probably won't happen, but who knows? That'd be cool. But yeah, so now if I hover over this, I should, so now I'm getting the scale 0.7407. So that's great. So we'll go ahead and hit OK there. And now it's scaling based off of that. So let's go ahead and save and see what we get in the edge here. All right, so see if this, so it is kind of working. You'll notice it is scaling, kind of, right? It's working decently well. But there's still quite a bit we need to work out. So let's go back to here. So I'm going to switch this back to my, just so I'm looking apples to apples here. I'm going to go back to my current properties and switch this back to 1920 by 1080, just so I have it. And then what I want to do now is I want to also, you'll notice it was always stuck up on the top left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to do is essentially center it in the exact middle of the screen. So let's do this. Let's go back to our content and our transform here. And we can affect that by looking at these guys. So if I change, this from 0, 0 to like 100 by 100, that's going to do 100 over and 100 down. So what I also want to do is add a starting point that I can reference in this binding. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I go back to add another property here, we'll make this one XY starting point. Seems good enough, descriptive enough. And we're going to go ahead and jump into this binding here. So I'll make this a property binding. And let's look at my scaled values that I have. I'll add transform script. Love the script binding, our transforms. Game changer compared to vision. And again, what's that?
I said agreed.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring in my baseline again at the top here. I also want to bring in my current, if I spell right, equals, I'm just gonna type this in, sub.custom.current. And then what I want to do is I want to return an XY based off of, the width of the screen and the scale that it's currently at. And if there's any extra space on either side, essentially want to cut that in half and put that on either side, right? So the X needs to be like half of the extra X, except if that makes any sense. It made sense in my head. We'll just type it out. So we'll go ahead and do scaled X equals, we'll do value dot scale. So this is bringing in the scale value. Oh, I'm going to make these float again because they're integers. Also, it might be. I'm just going to make sure they're floats. I'll multiply this by another float. This is going to be baseline.
We do have a question in chat too.
X. Oh, questions are welcome.
It's from Poss.
Hey,
Welcome in,
Poss.
Poss. It's good to see you. Poss would like to know. So Poss said, "Hey team, word on the street is that Ignition is going to change up its certification process for core and gold. Has anyone in chat heard any rumors and what that will look like?" I wish we had much.
I wish we had somebody on the stream that knew.
I only saw their most recent post that said it looks like, don't quote us, but it looks like you'll be able to do it at other, like not just at inductive.
So I saw on the forums the other day that people were ranting, and IA folk got on there and they were clarifying, and you can do it on site at IA or like Flexware does training, so places like that, or there's a virtual option. So I think you just do a 5-day training session virtually as well.
Yeah, that's the big one thing is it's not like an exam anymore. The training is the exam now. Yep. I don't know if there's like a test you have to submit after the training.
Yeah.
But from what it sounded like on the post, I don't know if there's any IA folks on the call, you can clarify, but it doesn't sound like, it sounded like once you took the training, you got the certification.
Yeah, and that's what I read. Obviously, it could change as well. We'll have to see.
And I think that like transition actually already passed. I think it was like the 14th or the 15th of this month. So there's like, unless you already submitted your exam or your test, then they're not like taking any new ones or something.
No,
there's
I thought you could still take the test all next year.
I think November next year is when the dedeadline is.
You know what? I'm gonna look it up.
Is it next year? I might have misread that.
You have to have it done, I think.
We might be spewing incorrect information.
Yeah.
No.
Casey on the prowl.
I'm prowling. I'm just looking to see if I can find it to share. Let's see. So starting. Yeah, so over the next year, starting on the 14th, they'll be slowly phased out. So yeah, we'll just put it in chat for those to read if you did not know.
Yeah, there you go.
So that I can save myself.
They can infer everything they can infer it their own way, interpret it their own way. Right. That way we're not on the hook.
Did you...
Somebody else's fault.
You should have waited to do gold. Yes, I still have to do my gold. I actually just got my core.
Nice.
I just got my gold back.
Oh yeah?
I got a couple things to fix.
Well, that's normal though.
Yeah. It's fine. This is fine.
This is fine.
Same gift thought.
There's a certification update for you, Poss. And there's more on their site. I'm sure they'll release more information as well. So we appreciate you asking that.
But side note, Flexware does offer training.
Which I did, yep. And I posted that in the chat as well. For those of
January?
Yep. For those that don't know.
If anybody watched the last 2 episodes of the stream, Eric was on the stream. He's actually been helping out with the training this time. I've been helping out the last several ones, but my wife's having a baby in a month, so I figured it'd probably be best for me to stay home.
How inconvenient, no. No, of course.
He says a month, but it's really like 2 weeks, so.
No.
Or it'll just chill inside
2 days
longer.
after Christmas, so.
Christmas baby.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
We're pretty excited. Yeah.
Some claps in chat for Reese.
Ooh, thank you.
Baby Reese on the way.
Baby Reese.
Reese. We don't know the gender, so it's
That's
a surprise.
exciting.
We'll see.
Pastas,
See what-
congrats. Best of luck with that.
Thank you. All right.
Shit.
I think that does it. So let me talk through the script if we're.
Sure. Sorry.
I want to make sure we're all run up against time. So let me get
Oh,
through it
yeah.
all here. So I have my scale. So I'm scaling this essentially based off the scale that I'm calculating over here from this value and my baseline. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking the difference of the current value, which changes, right, and minusing the scale value we just calculated, dividing that by 2.
Okay.
So that should give us where we need to start our x and our y. So we'll go ahead and hit OK there. Right now it's 0, 0, so that's great. But I need to go back and update this binding here, this transforms, right? So the 0 pixels here are working correctly. Right now they're hard coded, so let's go ahead and add another. Do this plus this, and then we'll go end quotes plus another plus single quotes. Perfect. And then inside of these guys, we'll go ahead and go to my x. And we'll go ahead and pop this into my y. And hit apply, see what that looks like. That looks like it's working to me from here, I think. I might have left a 0 in there. I did leave a 0 in there. Let's remove that 0. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll hit OK there and save. And now let's check out that screen. So you can see it pop centered it up, right? It was all the way on the left-hand side. So now if we change this up, looks like it's, making my, it's kind of, it's working. Let's see, what else do I need to do here? There's always a debugging part of this, right? Could this be the time to throw that up?
It's that time.
It's
Oh,
that
no.
time.
You guys watch MMA? you knew exactly what I was gonna say. Oh,
Maybe let's try. Let's add a couple other things in here. I know that I need to add this in here. Overflow. Set that to visible, so there's no scaling.
Derek is so excited right now.
Oh,
Look at him.
I know what it is. We
Got
had
it.
it left at percent,
Oh,
I
no.
bet. And now we need to change it to pit fixed because it's trying to scale that as well as scaling it with this transform with percent. So we need to leave it as fixed so the transform scales it.
That was very short troubleshooting.
I'm hoping this.
That's fine.
Hold
We're
on.
gonna leave it up.
Leave it up.
We're gonna leave it up.
Oh no.
Wait, did he do a typo pass?
Okay, we need to get rid of
you-
this as well. All these scroll bars. So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go ahead
So
and
exciting.
wait. Did I have a typo?
It might have been. I think.
Did somebody
Pasta
say I had a typo?
No, I just read too
Oh.
fast.
I think I also need to go back to my root container and change the overflow from auto to, I believe it's hidden. So those scroll bars don't show up. We'll save that.
Oh, he typoed overflow instead of overflow?
Oh, you did. Okay.
Where at? My content?
Yeah, where did you type over? Where are you supposed to type overflow?
Overflow right there.
Oh.
Good catch.
Nice
Wow.
catch. No, you're not great. You got
Yeah.
it right there. Pos just
Alright.
did Pos just resolve
Wow.
the troubleshooting?
He might. Yeah, I think he did.
You're the debug champion.
Now it
We're gonna
works.
send you something.
Collapse. Holy moly.
So
That's in
that,
chat.
yeah, shoot, nice job, nice spot.
I have an applause sound and I don't know if it works. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to test it on
we'll
here.
make it ourselves.
Boom, yeah, adding value.
So
He's
that's
got an hour. He's got an hourly rate.
Oh, no,
So
wait,
we-
that wasn't even an hour though. That was like 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, you
We'll
gotta
send
You're
round
you
it
still
up.
like-
getting a bill.
We'll send you like 60 cents. How about that?
You're one of the guys on Fiverr.
Fiverr ignition sport.
So the last thing that I want to do here, though, is you'll notice that this works pretty good, right? What? I can't see the chat.
Pa said it's prorated.
Oh
That's
no.
great.
That's hilarious.
There's a couple things I want to do. You'll notice that here it's kind of cutting off the bottom, and that's because
Mhm.
I need to essentially minus the amount of space that
Oh
this
my gosh.
taskbar is taking up. And then I also want to. It's kind of looks gross when I transition. I want it to be like a smooth transition instead of snapping.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a it's called a transition. Yeah, right here, transition. And I'm going to. I did this earlier, I think, with some other stuff, but we'll make this all and then 0.5 seconds, and we'll make this ease. So that should transition all my CSS properties
Sure.
Oh.
at a 5-second ease. And ease is like it eases in and out instead of just like a linear or exponential or that kind of thing. Um, so now if we move this around, yeah, kind of like it's a little more clean, I feel like.
Wow.
That I like that. And then the last thing I want to do here is I want to do some minus. I think this is about 100 down here, 100 pixels tall down there at the bottom.
Okay.
So on my, I think it's on my scale value, um, or the current. Yeah, the current, because yeah, I want to take what the current height is and minus 100 pixels before I do any calculations.
Mhm.
So let's go back to this guy. We'll jump over to my current and oof, crap, I can't do a, well, maybe I can do it in here, minus 100. Yeah, now I have a negative down there. Okay, let's hit OK there and save that. There we go. Now you can see all of it. So it's going to scale to everything as we'd expect. And no matter if you're on like a phone here,
Mhm.
or maybe you're, unfortunately, I'm not in Chrome, so I can't like automatically just click on iPad, whatever device. So you got maybe an iPad size, and you can see it's going to scale correctly, and then all the way up to like a desktop. And I actually put this on a 50-inch screen TV as well at one of my clients, and it worked just as well. Again, it's just treating that XY container, that content container that we created, as an image, and just scaling that image. So um, yeah,
Nice.
that's what I was planning on going through today. So a little bit over there, but pretty close to the amount of
Pretty
That's
time.
good.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
I I do have a question about
yeah.
browser zoom. Have you tried this on a tablet and using the pinch browser zoom to see how it behaves with this?
I have not.
Okay. I was just curious because it was a problem when I tried doing something
Mhm.
similar.
Did you? Okay. I know with yeah. I don't know if me removing that, doing like the hidden property
Mhm.
on the what was it? The hidden property on this guy, I believe. Yeah, on the overflow. If that would have done something or helped with that, because I don't know if that would get rid of like the scroll bars and it's just purely like zooming in.
Mhm.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember what your issue was. I know we chatted about it a while back, but
Hmm.
um, I don't know. It'd have to be purely up to testing. So
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay. I
mean, would
was just
you
curious.
would you really use this on like small tablets though, or would it be like,
possibly it'd be nice to be able to,
yeah, it'd be
right?
nice.
Yeah, this was a PNID to see on a phone, and
Okay.
I got pretty close. It looked decent. It was just a lot of information for how small a phone is. So
Mhm.
we changed it to, how it even looked. But
Hmm.
Gotcha.
I was just curious. It would scale down, but if you zoomed in, it wouldn't. It wasn't good. I
It
can't
would
remember
throw
exactly what
the
it was.
scroll bars or something around
Yeah,
the
something like
coordinate
that.
container, probably.
Yeah, it treated it like
Awesome.
an image. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they aren't ever going to use it for like their main concern was like desktop and TV, and so this works great for that.
Gotcha.
You'd have to test it for touch and zoom and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It's a good question. Although now that you say that, it's a little bit like not as smooth and clean as what I've shown here. But another project that we did, we actually used this.
Mhm.
but we had plus and minus buttons that you can zoom in like manually.
Okay.
And then you also could like pan around as well. So it's not as obviously smooth as like a touch pan and zoom and pinch and whatever,
Yeah.
but it worked for what was needed. So
Nice.
Cool.
another tool in the toolbox, right?
Yeah. For sure.
absolutely. This is gonna help somebody
For
for
sure.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah, I could definitely see the coupling this with like a pipe drawing diagram.
I might have to test it out.
Yeah. So yeah,
cool.
Awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Reese.
Yeah, we
for sure.
appreciate
For
it.
sure.
There's
Boss
any
says
last
it was.
questions here?
Yeah. Just gonna ask.
Any other questions in the chat?
Oh,
Bargavy.
Bargavy. Yeah.
Yeah, Bargavy's on my team. Well, on all of our teams. I'm working
Awesome.
with her on a project right now. And Paz
Yeah,
said very clean solution. It was fun to watch. Well, we appreciate you
Yeah.
popping
Yeah.
in.
Great feedback.
That's what a small world.
Yeah, Bargazy's great.
Yeah. She has
Love
to
it.
put up with my nonsense all day. You can ask her.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. Well, we appreciate everyone who hung out with us today.
Yeah.
Was there anything else we wanted to do before we go ahead and say our goodbyes?
Well, next stream it's gonna be kind of like this one. It's gonna be a week early. I will tell you that. It's not gonna
Yes.
be the week of Christmas. So, potentially a special stream. We're still working out the details. So,
Yep.
details to come.
So
Hopefully, that's gonna be a really fun one.
December 15th.
December 15th is the next stream.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can watch
That
on
turns into
LinkedIn
Thursday.
for updates on that as well.
Yep.
Okay.
See what is socials? Is that yeah, socials.
Yes. That is
There's
all
all the
of the socials.
socials.
All of them.
Follow YouTube, LinkedIn, follow us on Facebook. We even have a TikTok. So
You do?
TikTok.
yeah, I'm on there. My hand is on there. I can tell you
The button.
that. Nobody sped that up either. That's
Is it like a hand puppet?
No,
I was like
that's-
I was turn the temp down on the
Oh,
thermostat.
that.
Yeah.
I remember
It's pretty funny. It's impressive. Yeah, I guess if we were about ready to, I could go through our little outro that we have.
Yeah, wrap
Bargavy's
it
in
up.
here. See?
Bargavy's in here?
Yeah.
Bargavy.
Hi, Bargavy.
How's Bargavy?
But
Chilling.
there's no hiding that. Yeah, her name's right in her username.
Yeah. See?
This
I
is
mean, it
buff
could be
engineer
somebody
guy.
else. You never know.
This is buff engineer folk.
Sounds like he should probably be banned. So yeah.
Probably.
So we wanted to, give everybody a big thank you again for hanging out and everyone who tuned in with us today, all of our lurkers. We appreciate you. Definitely be sure to check out our YouTube channel for other content as well as our past streams, which maybe Derek can slap that into chat. That'd be great. And then
It's in
also
the socials, but I'll post it again.
Oh, you just did it. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And then also the training. We do have in-person training in January if anybody's ever interested.
Yeah. I know there's just a few spots left, so if that's of interest.
Filling up.
Definitely.
Filling up. They've all filled up
out.
really fast.
Yep.
And then, oh yeah, so Derek will, with the exchange resource, you want to...
Yeah, the exchange resource will be available very soon. I promise. Message me on LinkedIn if you don't see it in a week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely. If anyone wants to connect on LinkedIn, hit us up.
yeah.
We're always looking for friends. No, connections. And friends.
Oh no.
Cue the music. Sad. Yeah, but also if you guys enjoyed watching us today, be sure to hit that follow button if you are not following already. Then you'll get the go live notifications, and it helps us out. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Derek said, the next stream is on December 15th, so it is a week early.
At 5 p.m. At 5 p.m.
5
That one's gonna be
p.m.
a little bit
Eastern.
later. Yep.
It's gonna be a special show.
We're
You guys should definitely put it on your calendars. Mark
definitely
it
put.
off.
Yeah, definitely.
Follow us.
No matter what we do, it'll be special.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There
Well,
may be beards,
They're always
but we'll
special,
see.
right?
I can grow one in time.
Clifford might be wearing a beard. We haven't.
Bird.
We don't know yet.
Oh my gosh. But yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, we'll say goodbyes. And until next time, keep on developing.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.